Right, this afternoon here, just before the A-grade game, we've got Nev Peoples, coach of the Longreach A-grade side, and Peter Pickling, team manager for Longreach. Neville, how do you reckon your side will go today in their first fixture game for the 86th season?
Well, they're going out to try and win it, all right?
Right, they had a run.
Yeah, Ewan, yeah.
They beat Ewan quite comfortably.
Oh, it wasn't too much bloody comfort out there, Frank.
Too much comfort.
Rugged, yeah.
Any stars in your side, Nev?
No, just a team.
Just a team. A team effort that won last week.
Yeah,
no stars.
That's what we're looking for again today.
Going out to play team football.
Team football, yeah.
Right, you've got a couple of imports there. I believe a centre called Neil Wharton played for South in Brisbane, didn't play last week.
Yeah, Neil's in the side. He's got the score on the board. Good talented footballer. Yeah, he'll be an asset.
Also an ex-Yeppoon footballer, Jeff Hansen, in your front row.
Yeah.
He had a run last week.
Yeah, it went well. Jeff is a good ball playing forward. He's been around the traps. He knows what it's all about.
That's very good. Well, Neville, Peter, anything you'd like to say about today's game?
I think it'll be a good hard game, Frank. It'll be a good hard game. Good to see a lot of supporters here.
Yes.
Town, Frank, you know.
When you look,
I haven't seen so many gaps filled for years. It's really good days of football, Frank.
Now, I wish you both luck and your team luck in today's game against Barcaldine for the first game of the 1986 season.
Thank you, Frank.
Neville.
No,
Frank.
Peter. Sixth season, we've got the Barcaldine coach, Roy Costello, here. Roy, you've only been here in the West a couple of weeks. How's your team running?
Oh, they aren't too bad, Frank. It's all new to me. I haven't seen any of them play yet. I haven't seen any of the opposition play. But, you know, they tell me they've got a lot of talent here, so I'm expecting big things from them.
Right, you're going out there today, no doubt, to play as a team effort. First game of the season, hoping for 2 points on the board.
Yes, that's their main aim today. You know, as long as they play as a team, I think we're at a fair trade. You know, I think Longreach has got one game under their belt.
No stars, no imports in your side except yourself?
No, all late.
You look as yourself. I won't ask any secrets, but anyway, Roy, all the best for the game, for the 86th season with Bar. Right, at the start of the 1986 Rugby League season in Central West today, we at the Barcaldine Showgrounds. We've got Barcaldine and Longreach. The reserve grade's over. It was won by Longreach 42 points to 10. We see the Barcaldine side now running out, led by their captain coach in number 20 jersey, Roy Costello from Mackay. The Barcaldine side is 1, Brett Williams, 2, Darren Searles, 3, Pat Arthur, 4, Jeff Rafter, 5, John Anderson, 6, Peter Blucher, 7, Phil Burley, 8, Lyle Balderson, 9, Greg Wilson, 10, Tommy Mott, 12, Graham Lawrence, 13, David Kerrigan, in 17 jersey was Wilson, in 19 jersey Joe Farmer, 18 is David Thompson, and 11 should be Peter Maloney. I didn't mention when I run through the team, number 20 is Roy Costello, the captain coach of Barcaldine, the Longreach side. Fullback number 1, Steve Searles, 2, Rob Setter, 3, Steve Hart, 4, Neil Wharton, 5, Mick Bishel, 6, Ross Peoples, captain, 7, Mark Davies, 8, David Peoples, 9 is Alf Jackson, 10, Noel Hart, 11, Peter Schultz, 12 is Paul Davies, and 13, Jeff Hansen. Longreach reserves, Billy Payton, Bill Bolke, Greg Clark, Mark Dixon, S. Walsh, B. Britton, and Ross Gresheimer. Your referee today, Mr. David Thompson, with your linesmen Phil Mitchell and Rob Butt. Looks like Barcaldine have won the toss and elect to defend the hospital end, while Longreach will defend the racecourse end. Longreach to put the ball into play. Looked like Neil Wharton, the Longreach centre, to commence play here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Longreach have lost one of their great football supporters, first by the name of Geordie King. So we're going to have a minute's silence in respect of the late Geordie King. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, we see the game about to get underway. Wharton puts the ball deep into Barcaldine territory. Back there under it is Lyle Balderson. He runs it up to the 22 metre before he's put down by, underneath was the Longreach lock, Dave Peoples. He gets up and plays it back. The ball comes up, plays back to Graham Lawrence. He gets it away to Kerrigan. Kerrigan makes a few metres before he's set up on again by the Longreach lock in Peoples. He gets it back to Rafter. Rafter puts the ball across field to Michael Bishel, the Longreach hooker, winger. He misses. Picked up by John Anderson. John Anderson squeaking away to the try line. He's got plenty half outside him, but there it is. The first try of the match in opening minutes, scored wide out by John Anderson. Number 5. I'm sorry, it's a penalty to Longreach. Apparently the Anderson must have been in front of the kicker then when he kicked the ball. So I'll have to take back all that excitement. Apparently Anderson must have been in front of the kicker when Rafter kicked that ball through. I'd like to have a look at that one on replay. I wasn't watching Anderson at the time. I was busy watching Rafter kick the ball. So the first penalty of the match has gone to Longreach on the halfway line. Wharton kicks for touch on the outer touch line. It doesn't find touch. Williams takes it in his own in goal, runs it out. He runs out about 8 or 10 metres and he's put down. He'll get up and play the ball back to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it out to Lyle Balderson. He'll get up and play the ball. He plays it back to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it on to Coach Costello. Costello throws a shocking pass, dived on by Peoples, missed by Peoples, picked up by Paddy Arthur, but a knock on both ways. So we'll see the first scrum of the match about 20 metres out, right in front of the Barcaldine try line. Longreach ball to the scrum. It's won by Longreach. A penalty to Barcaldine from that scrum. Davies didn't retire. There's the first penalty of the game. Jeffrey Rafter to kick for touch on the grandstand side. Makes no mistake, he doesn't gain much ground, only 3 or 4 yards, but just inside the 22 metre line. Barcaldine to take the second kick. Lawrence is up to take it. He takes it, he gets the ball away to Balderson. Balderson runs up 8 or 10 metres. He's put down by Hanson over the top. He'll get up and play it. He plays it back to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it away to Costello. Costello gets it on to Coco Wilson. He stops one a bit high by Peoples. He gets up and plays it back to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it away. Tommy Mott through Costello. Mott's put down just in Barcaldine territory. He gets up and plays it back to Searles. Searles decides to go on his own. He gets just over the halfway line before he's put down by Peoples underneath. Over the top was Nolly Hart. Right, a knock on Barcaldine. Still have the ball on the last tackle. Lyle Balderson gets up, plays it back to Jeffrey Rafter. Jeffrey Rafter decides to kick ahead again. Ball goes high and wide to Michael Bishel. Bishel misses, picked up by Anderson. Anderson makes a break inside, he's tackled about 1 metre out. He gets up, plays it back to Jeffrey Rafter. Jeffrey Rafter gets it away to a half-back in full ball. Ball is tackled. He'll get up and play it back to Graham Lawrence. Graham Lawrence plays it to Kerrigan. Kerrigan's tackled about 5 metres out. Battle Lawrence, away to Coco Wilson. Coco Wilson sees the line, gets it away to Brett Williams. Brett Williams drops the ball with the line wide open. So we'll have a scrum about 5 metres out from Longreach try line. Davies to feed this scrum. He's getting a bit rough in the front row there by the look of it. They broke up into a few slugging punches. She's on bright and early in this one. She's on bright and early. We're pulling blokes away everywhere here. Kerrigan's got Jeff Hansen down on the ground, but Hansen gets back to his feet. It looks like we could have a bit of fireworks in the front row today between Hansen and Kerrigan. They're both pretty solid little boys. The Longreach ball in, the ball comes straight out. The long. We'll have it in again. It's in. Picked up by Barcaldine. Burley does it. He's tackled about 8 metres out. He'll get up and play the ball. He plays it back to William, standing wide, blue chip. Wilson, Coco Wilson, he's tackled about 5 metres out after Rafter took the tap. I thought Barcaldine was silly. They should have taken 2 points there. It's Jeffrey Rafter. Steps away from one, he steps away from two. He gets the ball away to Graham Lawrence. He's tackled about 1 metre out. He'll get up and play it back to Rafter. Rafter throws it to no one. It's picked up by a Longreach player in, looks like Noddy Hart. He gets up and plays it back to Neil Wharton. Neil Wharton's quickly set upon by Graham Lawrence and Lyle Bullison. He plays it back to Peoples. Peoples gets it away to his brother David Peoples. David Peoples is tackled about 12 metres out from the Longreach try line. He'll get up and play it back to the hooker in Davies. A free kick to Longreach. Barcaldine up inside the 5, well up inside Kerrigan. So we'll see a penalty go to Longreach for Barcaldine offside. Right on the 22 metre line, Longreach end of the ground. Wharton kicks for touch. He finds touch too on the grandstand touch line, about 10 metres in Longreach territory. Gets the ball to Setter to take the second kick. He takes the second kick. He's tackled by Searles right on the halfway line, steps out of the tackle, but he's quickly picked up by Coco Wilson. Wilson gets up to play it back to Stevie Hart. Stevie Hart knocks it on as he goes to pick it up, so we'll see a scrum go down right on the halfway line, about 10 metres in from the grandstand touch line. And Burley to feed this scrum for Barcaldine. Burley puts it in, but Longreach take it out. Davies takes it out, gets it away to his 5'8 Peoples. Peoples gets a pass on to Wharton. Wharton gets it away to Stevie Hart. Stevie Hart gets it away to Bishel. Bishel gets it back inside to Wharton. Wharton's flying for the corner and scores right out on the outer side of the field. After about 8 minutes of play, it's Longreach 4, Barcaldine 0.
Longreach was scored by number 3, Stevie Hart.
Wharton has his ball set on the 22 metre line, about 3 metres in for touch. Puts boot to ball. Looks pretty good from here, but it's waved away to the right of the upright. They have a Longreach lead, 4 points to 0 after about 8 minutes of play in the first half. Jeffrey Rafter to put this ball back into play for Barcaldine. Get the ball placed on the halfway line. Clock's not going. Bleacher puts the ball into play, and it's taken by Peoples, the Longreach lock. He's tackled by Mott and Costello. He'll get up and play the ball about 20 metres out from his own try line. He plays it back to Davies. Davies gets it away to the second rower in Alf Jackson. Jackson makes it up to the 22-metre line before he's settled on. He'll get up and play it back to the hooker, Davies. Davies plays it away to his brother Davies. He gets it away to Jeff Hansen. Jeff Hansen gets it back behind him to Wharton. Wharton kicks downfield, and the ball goes into touch about 27 metres out from the try line. We'll see a scrum pack down 10 metres in from touch on the grandstand side, about 27 metres out from Barcaldine try line. It's Burley to feed this scrum. Burley puts it in. Burley should take it out. Yes, he takes it out. And he's set up on by Peoples and the front rower in Peter Schultz. He gets up and plays it back to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it away to Coco Wilson. Coco Wilson makes about 4 metres before he's tackled. He gets up and plays it away to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it away to Costello. Costello short pass to Kerrigan. Kerrigan's quickly put down. He get up, played back to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it away to Lyle Ballison. Lyle Ballison makes a few metres. He's held up there by the second rower, Noel Hart. He get up and play it back to Graham Lawrence, away to Burley, on to Peter Bleacher. Bleacher gets the ball away to Rafter. Rafter puts it down. It's quickly picked up by Michael Bishel, the winger. He's put down right in centre field. He'll get up and play it back now to Davies. Davies plays it away to Hansen. Hansen quickly set up on by Mott, but missed Peoples. Ross Peoples, that is, puts Bert the ball and go back for this Searles. Searles runs it across field. And he runs around 1, around 2. He's still going, Searles. He gets it away to John Anderson on the far wing. Anderson coming up the cover defence, coming across in the shape of the fullback. Anderson made about 30 metres of that run after getting the ball from Searles. Goes to Costello, back onto Kerrigan through Rafter. Kerrigan's put down about 27 metres out from the Longreach try line. He plays it back to Burley. A free kick to Barcaldine. Longreach up inside the 5. Surely they'll take the 2 points this time. They should have taken them last time. Apparently Costello's a great believer in kicking for touch, so that'll be 4 points gone begging for Barcaldine now through 2 penalties right in front. Costello kicks for touch. He finds touch to about 10 metres out from the Longreach try line. Ball goes to Searles. He gives it inside to Lawrence to take the second kick. Lawrence takes the tap. He gets it away to Mott. Mott runs straight into the Longreach defence, and he's quickly put to the ground about 5 metres out. He gets up to play it back to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it on to Costello. Costello doesn't make any ground at all before he's put down. He'll get up and play it back to Lawrence. Lawrence gets it on to Burley. Burley stands up in the tackle, gets the ball away to Rafter. It's knocked down by Longreach, dived on by Longreach, and number 11, Peter Schultz. He'll play the ball about half a metre out from his try line. Plays it back to the winger in Setter. Setter doesn't make any ground either before he's put down by Graham Lawrence. He get up and play it back. He plays it to Alf Jackson. Alf Jackson put down about 5 metres out on the 4th tackle. He'll get up now and play it back to the half-back in Davies. Davies gets it away to Hansen. Hansen's set up on there by Lyle Ballas and Coco Wilson. He's held up there in the middle. Plays it to Ross Peoples. Ross Peoples to Wharton. Wharton gets it away. Apparently he ruled that he must have been committed to the tackle, but I would have thought a late tackle. But anyway, the game goes on. Tommy Mott's held up with the ball over there. He plays it back to Searles. Searles gets it away to Lyle Ballison. Lyle Ballison's tackled by Dave Peoples over the top. Underneath was the half-back in Mark Davies. He gets up, plays it back to Costello. Costello gets the ball away to Kerrigan. Kerrigan runs straight into Noddy Hart and Dave Peoples. He plays it back, goes on to Burley, on to Bleacher, on to Rafter, on to Brett Williams into the line. Brett Williams drops the ball. It's knocked on by Barcaldine, finally picked up by Longreach, but the referee's going to play the knock-on Barcaldine. Looks like Lyle Ball is in the Barcaldine lock down on the ground. It's only a boot off. I think he's only playing for time. Graham Lawrence, the hooker, he thought he'd have a lie down at the same time to make the referee pull up the game. Here we come, the first female ambulance man in Barcaldine trotting out with a big box. She'll have to get a little boy to help her if she keeps this up all day. Oh, we got the physiotherapist out there too. She might be going to give him a rub up. Probably Dad would jump up and kiss them both if he knew who they were. That's a bit slow. Well, that data there first time. Ambulance car one. No, he doesn't. He's not going to go off. He reckons he's going to stop there. Bandages and all around his forehead. He's going to stop there. He doesn't want to go off. He's going to go into this scrum with a bandage around his head. Wes Wilson loosening up over on the sideline. He's the centre, I thought, and he's loosening up to replace a hooker, so I don't know what they'll do with their pack if this goes on. Probably bring Jeffrey Rafter into the forwards. Longreach ball in, Longreach ball out. Straight out, said the referee. We'll have it again. Pack the scrum again, the ball goes in, it's taken out by Longreach, penalty to Barcaldine, and there's another one. Will he take the 2 points this time? He's had 3 opportunities to take 2 points, and once again he's not going to take them. This could mean the difference at the end of the game, these easy 2 points right in front. Costello kicks for touch on the ball, goes out in the 22-metre line. Lawrence to take the second kick. He takes the kick, gets it away to Tommy Mott again. Mott straight up the middle. He runs into Schultz, and he's tackled there, and the ball pinched out of him while he's on the ground by the hooker Davey. So another free kick to Barcaldine. Costello looks like he's finally going to take 2 points. This is the 4th penalty within kicking distance to Barcaldine in 15 minutes of the game, and finally Costello has decided, well, we'll have a go at 2 points. Now here's the sand boy. He's finally woke up after 3 or 4 calls. He's running out there with his little bucket. Could be 2. A sand person. We have sand boys and sand girls. I'm not sure about this one, so we'll say it's a sand person. And Bleach is setting this ball probably about 10 metres outside the right end upright and about 20 metres out from the try line. He moves back his 3 or 4 paces. Was a pretty reliable kicker, Peter. I don't know how he'll go first up in the season, but he moves in, puts boot to ball. Should be 2 points, yes. It's over, so Longreach lead 4 points to 2 after 15 minutes in the first half. Neil Wharton takes the ball up and places it for the kick-off. Kicking the grandstand side. A low long kick to Ballison. Ballison takes it well on his own 22-metre line. He runs around one tackle. He's held up there by Noddy Hart and Dave Peoples. He'll play the ball back to Rafter on the 22-metre line. He gets up, plays it back to Rafter. Rafter gets it away to Tommy Mott. Tommy Mott runs straight ahead, runs into David Peoples. He gets up to play it back, plays it to Rafter. Rafter gets it across to Burley. Burley gets it on to Costello running out wide. Costello's put down. He plays it back to Rafter. Rafter to Burley. Burley gets it out wide again to, looks like Wes Wilson might have come on the field to replace Dardle Lawrence. So Jeffrey Raft is now going to go from centre to pack in at hooker, and Wilson will be playing in the centres in Rafter's place. So not a bad move from centre to hooker. Pretty versatile football and pretty good footballer, Jeffrey Rafter, so I don't think the change of position will worry him too much. He's probably better suited in the forwards. Longreach put it in. Longreach take it out for the second time, but the referee's not happy. He said we'll have it in a third time. In it goes again, goes in, comes out. We're going to have a fourth one here. I don't see why you should pack 4 scrums. If the ball keeps coming out, one of the props are at fault and pinch him. Doesn't matter which side. That won a penalty to Barcaldine for a second row feed. Even though Barcaldine won the ball, he's marked it as a second row feed. I thought it was a penalty for the halfback not retiring, but nevertheless, he showed second row feed and the ball went straight through Barcaldine's side. So Rafter kick for touch on the outer side, pretty well on the halfway line, about 20 metres in from the outer touch line. Rafter puts boot the ball, very low kick, finds touch about 1 metre inside Longreach territory. Comes up Rafter to take the second kick. Rafter puts it to the ground, takes the second kick, runs on his own. He runs into Alf Jackson by the look of it. He'll get up and play it back, plays it to Costello. Costello gets it away to Lyle Ballison running up the outer side. He's held up there. John Anderson in to lend a hand. Over the top with a stiff elbow was Coco Wilson, but he gets up, plays it back to Rafter, onto Burley, onto Blucher. Blucher gets it away to Burley running round him, then onto David Kerrigan. David Kerrigan's held up on the cricket pitch. He gets up, plays it back to Wilson. Wilson onto Costello. Costello to Burley. Burley out to Wes Wilson, the centre. He'll get up and play it back now to Burley. Burley gets it away to Costello. Costello onto Rafter. Rafter onto Blucher. There's a fight going on back. They're going to be pretty good today by the look of it. They like to fight, these fellas. Let them go. There's 26 of them in there. They don't know who's going to throw the next punch. Mark Davis. I'll settle down. Paddy Arthur says, come on, fellas, settle down. They're still pulling a couple apart in the middle here. It looks like it could be Kerrigan again. And Jeffrey Raft is into someone now. I don't know what's going on. Just let them fight. Stand there and wait till they finish. That's the way we're... Pretty good start to the 1986 season. No doubt the old fire between Longreach and Barcaldine still well and truly alive. This has been going on since 1927 with the Solly Cup. There's no love lost between these two sides. Hadn't been over the years. No doubt now the referee will call both coaches, both captains out, give them both a lecture, tell them to settle down and play football. Looks like it might be a game of whoever wins the fight will win the football here today. A bit of blood running out of Tommy Mott's mouth. He stopped a couple there by the look of it. Blucher's on his knees getting attention, or praying, one of the two. Bit more fire in the football this year than there was last year, I can assure you.
Oh, bullshit,
Yes, and looks like David Peoples has got a spell. I didn't see what time he got. Anyway, we're going to move back over here. and start the game again. Peoples has been sent off, and it looks like he's going to restart the game with a scrum. Very funny ruling, sending a player off and then restarting with a scrum. If the bloke's at fault, it should be a penalty to the opposition. Nevertheless, he's out there blowing the whistle. Ball goes in, comes out to Longreach. Davies has it. He's held up by Balderson. He'll get up and play it back. Plays it to Dave Peoples. He gets it away to Wharton. Wharton gets it away to Steve Hart. He steps around Paddy Arthur. Gets it away. Taken by Darren Searles. He gets up, plays it back to Setter. Setter gets it away through his half back to Peoples. Peoples on to Hanson. Hanson away to Peoples. Peoples is held up in the middle of the field by Jeff Rafter and Pat Arthur. He get up and play it back. Plays it to the hooker Davies. He gets away to Davies, the half-back. Goes on to Schultz. Schultz steps out of one tackle. He's finally taken there on the halfway line. He'll get up and play it back to the hooker Davies. Davies gets it away to Wharton. Wharton gets it away out wide to nobody. Dived on by Bishel, missed by Bishel. Looks like Steve Hart comes up with the ball. No, it's Noddy Hart. He plays it back, comes to Davies. Davies gets it on to Peoples. Peoples kicks, charged down by a Barcaldine player, picked up by a Longreach player. 6 to go, says referee Thompson. He gets up, plays it back to Peoples. Peoples throws it wide to Wharton. Wharton puts the ball. A good little kick to about 5 metres inside Barcaldine territory. Finds touch. It looks like Burley to feed this scrum about 5 metres inside Barcaldine territory. Burley puts it in. Burley takes it out. He went right round the scrum, had to go back for it. He'll get up and play it back to Searles. Searles decides to have a run on his own. He's got Coco Wilson with him now. He says, I'll go on my own. He's tackled there by Alf Jackson and Noddy Hart. He gets up, plays it back. Tommy Mott standing flat. Drops the ball, knocks on. Referee didn't wait for the advantage. He says, we'll play the knock on after Barcaldine player beats the ball. Longreach to feed this scrum. Longreach put it in. Barcaldine take it out in Burley, throws it back to Williams, goes over Williams' head. No, he said, we'll have that again. Longreach put it in, taken out by Longreach. Same tunnel again. Make them pack in properly and keep that ball in once it goes in. In it goes, put in by Longreach, taken out by Longreach, straight hole. That's 3 scrums he's packed again, 4 over the other side a while ago. Looks like the 4th one going down now. Put in, taken out by Burley. Burley's put down behind the base of the scrum. He'll get up and play it back. Plays it forward. He's tackled by Schultz in an offside position. So we'll get another free kick to Barcaldine. Costello will kick the touch on the grandstand side. He finds touch to about 8 metres inside Longreach territory, about 5 metres inside Longreach territory. Searles throws it into Rafter for the second kick. Got to go straight past him, so we'll wait for the ball to come back to Rafter. Rafter takes the second kick, gets it away short to Coco Wilson coming hard. Coco Wilson's put down by Jackson and the hooker in Davies. Coco will get up and play it. He plays it back to Costello onto Lyle Balderson. Lyle Balderson set up on there by Alf Jackson and can't see here, number 11, yeah, that's Schultz. A break in play while Mark Davies, the Longreach hooker, is down. Not Mark Davies, Paul Davies, the Longreach hooker, receiving attention.
Like to have a little break in the play. A little double is forward 6 and Longreach 3. That's the combination. 6 and 3 for the double. Not forgetting the barbecue and bar tonight. At 6 o'clock we have a barbecue and the bar, licensed bar, open from 6 to 11. So if you feel like a good little feed and a good little drink to talk over the game, etc., etc., that's what they should do. 6 o'clock for
Still got Paul Davies down here on the ground receiving attention from the Longreach run-on trainer. He's not very healthy. He's back up his feet. He's back down again. Looks like he might have hurt an ankle there, so we could see the replacement of the second hooker in the game. The Barcaldine hooker's already been replaced with a cut in the forehead, and Longreach hooker's limping around pretty badly down there. No, he's going to continue. He's limping pretty badly, but he said, no, I'll stay on the field. So we'll see Barcaldine play the ball for the third tackle. About 28 metres out from Longreach line, about 25 metres in from the grandstand touch line. Borlison to play the ball, plays it back to Rafter to Burley. Burley gets it away to Tommy Mott. Tommy Mott held up there, gets the ball away to Searles, but Searles quickly dived upon by Noddy Hardy. Get up and play it back to Costello. Costello to Burley. Burley out wide to Kerrigan running wide. Kerrigan set up on there by 3 or 4 of the Longreach players. Hanson over the top. Underneath was the hooker in Davies. He plays it back, comes out to Burley. Burley decides to go back inside again. He's held up on the 22-metre line on the 5th tackle. He'll get up and play it back. Plays it to Rafter. Rafter to Costello. Costello puts it up. The little bomb. Bleacher's following it through. And Bleacher scored between the posts after the ball was touched by Phil Burley. No doubt in an offside position. He passed that ball to Costello. Costello put it up, and Bleacher was there to pick it up and score right between the posts. Barcaldine now go to a lead of 6 points to 4 with the kick to come. There's a little seeing person in again. Hello, that clock stopped again on 14 minutes. Bleacher's got the ball set, moves back, moves in. Yes, there it is. Another 2 points. Barcaldine go to a lead of 8 points to 4 after about 34 minutes of play in the first half. Eh? Eh? They've had. Oh, a bit of injury time, I suppose. Right, Longreach put the ball back into play. Kick down, it's picked up there by Tommy Mott, knocked behind him, picked up by Lyle Borlison. Lyle Borlison runs it up inside the 22 metres before he's put down. He'll get up and play it back to Dave Kerrigan. Kerrigan has a run his own. No one with him. Yes, he's got the ball away to Tommy Mott now. Tommy Mott makes it up to about 10 metres inside Longreach territory before he's put down. He plays it back to Kerrigan. Kerrigan gets it away to Burley. Burley gets it away to Wes Wilson, the centre, replacement centre. He gets up and plays it back to Paddy Arthur. Paddy Arthur gets it away to Burley. Burley on to Jeff Rafter. A long pass out to Costello. On to Coco Wilson. Coco Wilson's put down. He lost a bit of ground in that movement. We're only about 2 metres inside Longreach territory. Plays it back to Searles. Searles gives it to Costello. Costello puts the ball about nearly over the outside fence anyways. Crumble packed down about 2 or 3 metres inside Longreach territory. 10 metres in from the grandstands. Longreach ball to the scrum. Players held up again while second rower for Barcaldine, Tom Mott, receives attention out in the middle of the field. No doubt it's pretty hot out there running around in this sort of weather, but there's been a lot of time off for injuries in the first half of this game. As Longreach to feed the scrum, Longreach put it in. It's taken out by Barcaldine. Get the way to Bleacher. Bleacher on to Brett Williams. He hands it straight to David Peoples. If he's going to come into the back line, surely he should be running a lot faster than that where he can take the ball on the move. He plays it back to Noddy Hart. Noddy Hart gets it away to Jeff Hanson. He's held up over there by Coco Wilson. Gets the ball away to Yes, it's Noddy Hart. He gets up and plays it back to Paul Davies. Davies makes it, runs into Costello. Costello puts him to the ground. He's held by Kerrigan. The linesman in making a report to the referee. The referee calls up Coco Wilson for a high tackle on Hanson over there. We see a penalty go to Longreach from that incident where the linesman come in and made his report. Probably a high tackle on Hanson in the last tackle by Coco Wilson. Wharton kicks for touch. He finds touch too. Makes good ground. He's only about 30 metres out now from the Barcaldine try line. So Davies goes up to take the second kick. He takes it, gets the ball away to Schultz. Schultz loses the ball. It's dived on by Tommy Mott. A good tackle that time by Coco Wilson underneath. He gets up, Mott plays it back, goes to Costello. He gets a short one away to Balderson. Balderson gets it away to Burley. Burley's hit there by the centre and Steve Hart. Steve Hart loses the ball. It's picked up by Wes Wilson, but knock on each way. And we'll see a scrum pack down on the cricket pitch, right in centre field. Tommy Mott looks like leaving the field, being replaced by Joe Farmer into the second row. Farmer packs in, the ball goes in by Longreach, taken out by Longreach. He runs across field, he's set on by Burley and put down. He get up and play it back to Peoples. Peoples gets it away to Neil Wharton. Wharton on to number 14 of Longreach replacement. That should be Billy Payton. He gets up, plays it back to Mark Davies. Mark Davies gets it away out wide. And the Longreach winger setter is put down over there by Joe Farmer and Coco Wilson. We've got another hold-up in play while the Longreach player receives attention out in the centre of the field. A lot of breaks in play, but I think it's stupid holding the game up for a player like this when he's nowhere near the play. The game could go on while he's on the ground. He's in no danger of being hurt. That's the idea of run-on trainers today, so they can run on and attend these players. Back on his feet, that Longreach player, with the hooker again in the halfback in the other Davies, Mark Davies. So the winger setter will play the ball about 24 metres out. He plays it back. Come back to Mark Davies. Mark Davies runs headlong into Joey Farmer. He'll get up and play it back to Schultz. Schultz gets it away to Wharton. Wharton out wide to Hanson. Hanson's taken there by Costello. Gets the ball back to Wharton. Wharton put down by Blucher right in front, about 20 metres out. He'll get up and play the ball back to Davies. Davies gets it away to Ross Peoples. Ross Peoples onto Davies. And Davies tackles Hanson out wide there that time. He'll get up and play it back. Plays it back to Davies. Davies to Wharton. Wharton puts the ball up. Steve Hart following through. Jeffrey Raft is under it. Takes it for Barcaldine. We'll see a goal line drop out. He must have taken it back over the dead ball line because it's an optional tap kick from the 22-metre line. Too deep, that one by Wharton. Wes Wilson's up to take the tap. He takes a tap. He has a run on his own. He makes 3 or 4 metres before he's put down. He'll get up and play it back to Dave Kerrigan. Dave Kerrigan has a run on his own. He runs into one, runs over top of Wharton, but he's held pretty securely there by Alf Jackson. He get up and play it back, plays it to Rafter. Rafter to Costello. Costello gets it on to Coco Wilson. He drops it. The Longreach player knocks it on, attempting to pick it up, so we'll have another scrum pack down pretty well on halfway, about 10 or 15 metres in from the outer touch line. If you're over there, they'd be over here. Wilson to feed this, Burley to feed this scrum for Barcaldine, and he puts it in. It's straight out the same tunnel. He'd have been a bit rugged, some of these scrums put in again by Burley, taken out by Longreach, dived upon over there by Michael Bishel, the Longreach winger, up beside the scrum. He's tackled by Burley. He gets up and plays it back to Hart. Hart's held up over there. He'll get up and play it back to Mike Bishel. Mike Bishel gets it away to Alf Jackson. Jackson runs straight up the middle, put down by Coco Wilson. Wilson get up and play it back to Schultz. Schultz gets it away to Mark Davies, onto Peoples, onto Hanson coming through hard. He's taken by Costello, gets it away to Davies. Davies gets it back outside to Peoples. Peoples steps around one, taken by Joey Farmer. Gets the ball away to Peter Blucher by the look of it for Barcaldine. Blucher will get up and play this ball. Blucher plays it back to Wes Wilson. Wilson comes straight ahead into Steve Hart, over top of Steve Hart, and underneath goes the other centre. He gets up, plays it back to Coco Wilson. Coco Wilson gets it away to Costello, back inside to Kerrigan. Kerrigan beats off one, beats off two. He can't get his pass away. He's held up there just inside Longreach territory. He plays it back to Jeffrey Rafter, onto Burley, onto Lyle Ballison. Lyle Ballison has a run his own across field. He's tackled there by number 3 and Steve Hart. He gets up, plays it back to Joey Farmer. It goes on to Phil Burley, on to Wes Wilson. Wes Wilson beats one, two. He's running hard. He's got Johnny Anderson and Burley inside. He gets the ball back inside, and Burley's carried over the try line. He carried over in the tackle over the try line to try to Barcaldine, scored by Phil Burley. Wes Wilson's down on the outer side, but he threw that ball over well. It was picked up by Burley, and Burley scored about 10 metres out from the right hand upright. The Barcaldine go to a lead of 12 points to 4. Must be very close to half-time here at the Barcaldine Sports Reserve. Looks like he might be a bit winded, this bloke. His first run that knocked him up. He'll be right to teach school tomorrow, no doubt.
And the winner of the bottle of wine and the 50 bucks was Mick Rasmussen. Rick Rasmussen won the 50 bucks plus the bottle of wine.
And Blucher's about to place his ball right on the 22-metre line. About 10 metres to the right-hand side of the upright. Should be a pretty simple kick. It's somewhere near where he kicked the penalty a while ago. Moves in, hurt the ball. It looks all right from here, yes. Straight through the centre. And Barcaldine go to a lead of 14 points to 4 after 37 minutes in the first half. Wharton's got this ball set for the kick-off. Puts boot the ball. It goes pretty well straight across field. Costello's got it right on the 10-metre line. He's held up there by Schultz over the top. Underneath is the winger in centre. He plays it back to Coco Wilson. He gets it away to Joe Farmer by the look of it. Joey Farmer will get up and play the ball back to Wilson. Goes on to Kerrigan. Kerrigan comes straight up the middle. Steps around one, steps around two. He's held up there underneath by Alf Jackson. Over the top, Noddy Hart and Ross People. He's up, plays it back to Wilson. Wilson gets it on to Burley. Burley gets it away to Blucher. Blucher comes back inside and he's held up. He plays it back to Wilson. Wilson gets it to Burley. Burley out to Rafter. Rafter on to Paddy Arthur. Paddy Arthur to Costello. Costello to Searles. Searles has got a bit of room to move. He's also got a bit of pace, but he's pulled down about 20 metres out from the Longreach try line. He'll get up and play the ball back to Costello. Plays it to Costello. Costello gets it to Rafter. Rafter puts it up. Taken there by Peoples, knocked back by Peoples, dived upon by Steve Hart. He get up and play it back to Peoples. Peoples gets it away to Schultz. Schultz goes straight up the middle. He steps out of a tackle by Wilson. Finally put down over there by Lyle Ballison. He'll get up and play it back to Stevie Hart. Stevie Hart gets it away to Jeff Hanson. Jeff Hanson's taking a pretty heavy tackle there by Jeff Rafter. He'll get up and play it back. Plays it onto the lock forward. He gets it away to Mark Davies. Mark Davies puts boot the ball. Burley finishes up with the ball after putting his boot in the road, so Davies couldn't get a second kick in. He'll get up and play it. Plays it back to Coco Wilson. Coco Wilson makes 1 or 2 metres before he's put down. He'll play it back to Rafter. Rafter gets it away out wide to Costello. Costello knocks it on, standing flat-footed instead of being back, running onto the ball. Just standing flat-footed is no good in a game of football. You've got to get back and run onto this ball. So we see another scrum pack down about 25 metres out from the Longreach try line, be fed by Mark Davies. Ball goes in, taken out by Davies. Davies is put down by Balderson. He gets up and plays it, back to Ross Peoples. Ross Peoples goes up the middle on his own, no one with him. He's put down by Lyle Balderson underneath. Joey Farmer at the top, no marker, plays it ahead, gets it away out wide to Wharton to Hanson. Hanson missed in a tackle. He drops the ball, dived upon by Longreach second row Alf Jackson. Back to the first tackle, knocked down by Barcaldine. He plays it back to Noddy Hart. Noddy Hart's taken by Coco Wilson. He'll get up and play it back to Paul Davies. Comes on to Schultz. Schultz runs into Darren Searles, and he's put down there about 3 metres inside Longreach territory. Plays back to Paul Davies. On to Neil Wharton. Neil Wharton gets it away to Jeff Hanson. Jeff Hanson puts the ball down, dives on it again, but the knock line to be played about 3 or 4 metres inside Longreach territory. Must be getting very close to half-time now. The clock stopped at about 13 minutes past after the start of the game, and we've been out there a long time. Been a bit of time off for injuries. Ball coming out the same way, said the referee. We'll have it in again. Ball goes in, put in by Barcaldine, taken out by Burley. Burley beats one, gets it away to with a bit of room to move. He's got a ton of pace, this boy, and he's gone in. Good try to Barcaldine. Burley made the break, fed Searles. He's got a ton of pace, and Searles goes in about 6 or 7 metres in from the grandstand touchline. This is one boy that I don't want to give too much room to, because there's no one on this field that'll catch him over 100 metres. The Barcaldine 15 points to 4 as the half-time hooter blows. Should be a very elated Barcaldine side that leaves the field at half-time with a lead of 18 to 4. They should be very pleased with themselves. Costello should be quite pleased with his team, although a lot of errors being made out there by both sides. No doubt will slow down a bit in the second half as conditions start to tell on these sides. Most difficult kick Bleach has had. He's kicked 4 out of 4 so far, so a kicker of his ability. This one shouldn't be too hard. It's about 8-9 metres in from touch on the grandstand side, and he's placed it about 24-25 metres out from the goal line. Bleach has got this ball set. He moves in, puts bird to ball. It's up in the air. It's going to fall a bit short. No, it's there. So Barcaldine go to the break, leading by 20 points to 4 after a pretty rugged first half of football. I think Costello would be pretty pleased with himself with the effort of his boys first up in the first game in the first half. Longreach had a run last week against Urendon and defeated Urendon by about 18 points to 6 after 6 all at half time. So we should see a pretty good, bright second half to this game after about a 10-minute break. So until then, I'm closing off. Here we go. We're just about to start the second half of this first fixture game for the 1986 season. Barcaldine to put the ball into play. Scores at half-time, 20 points to 4 in favour of Barcaldine. Williams has come up onto a wing, Searles into the centres, and Wesley Wilson's moved back. No, it's not Searles into the centres. Johnny Anderson into the centres, and Wesley Wilson back to fullback. Longreach side, they're playing with 12 men after Dave Peoples was dismissed in the first half. Only one replacement so far on their side is number 14 replacing number 1. That's Stevie Walsh in 14 jersey. I might have called him earlier as Billy Payton. That was the number I had in the book, but anyway, it's Steve Walsh out there. Game about to get underway. Bleach is very anxious, stepping up and down one spot. There goes the whistle. Bleacher moves in, puts the ball into play, goes deep down into Longreach territory. It's taken there by Alf Jackson by the look of it, the Longreach second row. He's tackled by Joe Farmer. He gets up and plays it back. It comes to Noddy Hart. Noddy put down there by Darren Searles in from his wing. He gets up and plays it back. Kerrigan puts the boot to it, puts it into touch just inside the 22-metre line on Longreach into the ground. The first scrum of the second half. Longreach defeated this scrum, kicked out by Barcaldine, so the Longreach loose head. He puts it in, taken out by Longreach. It's not taken out by anyone. It's picked up by Darren Searles to Barcaldine winger right on the try line. He gets up, plays it back, plays it to Rafter. Rafter gets it away to Burley. Burley to Wilson. Wilson doubles round, takes it back off Burley, drops the ball, picked up by a Longreach player. Looked like Hanson. He gets up and plays it back to Peoples. Peoples gets it away out. No, I've gone bush already. Who's that, Marcus? Longreach played back to Schultz. He's tackled there by Joey Farmer. He'll get up and play the ball back to Ross Peoples. Ross Peoples gets it away out wide to Bishop. By the look of it in the centre, he gets it away to his winger. No, that's Bishop picked up with it now. That was Wharton before that. Ball into touch on the full, so we'll have a scrum pack down just inside Longreach territory, about 10 metres in from the touch line. Apparently there's been another change in the Longreach side. Burley to feed the scrum. Burley puts it in. Burley takes it out. The referee said not good enough, we'll have it again. Burley puts it in again, taken out by Burley, out the same tunnel. That's twice. How many more times are you going to pack these scrums? 3 or 4 times. Burley puts it in, kicked straight out by the Barcaldine prop, Kerrigan. I should think so. Didn't have time to get in. He's real in second row, but it was kicked straight out by the Barcaldine prop. Penalty to Longreach. Oh, Wharton kicks for touch, finds touch too, about 10 metres inside Barcaldine territory. Peoples comes up to take the second kick. Takes the second kick, gets it away to Hanson coming up the middle. He's grabbed by Farmer. He gets the ball back to Mick Bishop. Bishop's grabbed by Coco Wilson, gets away from Wilson, put down by Costello. He get up and play it back to Peoples. Peoples gets it away to Davies. Davies to Wharton. Wharton to... Is that blood? Mark Dixon. To Mark Dixon. Mark Dixon set up on there and put down. He get up and play it back. He gets it out wide to Wharton. Wharton gets it... Oh, he drops the ball, picked up... Oh, what a mess. We'll have a scrum for the knock on there by the Peoples. Knock back, knock on. Another scrum to pack down. It'll be Burley to feed this scrum back. The ball comes out to Barcaldine, picked up by Longreach after being missed by Barcaldine half-back. He gets up, plays it back to Peoples, comes on to Davies. Davies gets it away out wide to Wharton. Wharton gets it on then to Hanson. Hanson's quickly put down by Paddy Arthur and Johnny Anderson. He gets up and plays it back. Peoples puts boot the ball. Yes, he finds touch about 2 metres out from the Barcaldine line. So another scrum to pack down, just out from Barcaldine try line. It'll be a Barcaldine ball to the scrum. We'll have it again, said the referee. What a scrum. Never even went in that ball, but anyway, there's a fight for possession. It looks like Barcaldine's going to come up with it. No, we're going to pack it again. Barcaldine ball in, Barcaldine ball out. Another penalty to Longreach. Don't turn your backs there, fellas. And the penalty to Longreach only about 5 metres out to be taken by Wharton. He'll kick for touch. He puts it back to about the 10 or 12 metre line. Longreach leader bloke's in danger of being run over if he gets much closer to the sideline taking photos. But anyway, Brian's been around a long time. Gets it away to Davies. Davies gets it on to Wharton. Wharton gets it away to nobody in the finish. It's a knock on by Dixon. So we'll
If he gets the picture.
we'll see another scrum go down. Barcaldine to feed this scrum in centre field, pretty well on the 22 metre line. Barcaldine put it in, come straight out the same tunnel, picked up by the Longreach halfback in Mark Davies. Burley puts it in. It's pretty well won by Longreach. We've got a penalty here for foot across, so Barcaldine get out of trouble. We'll see Barcaldine no doubt kick for touch and Costello's got the ball, going to kick for touch on the outer side of the... No, Kerrigan kicking for touch on the outer. He finds touch to about 10 metres inside Barcaldine territory, 12 metres inside Barcaldine territory. He throws it into Rafter, the acting hooker. Rafter takes the second kick, gets it away to Kerrigan. Kerrigan goes straight up the middle, gets the ball away nicely to Wilson. Wilson drops it, runs back, picked up by Noddy Hart. Noddy Hart turns into Coco Wilson. He'll put him to the ground right on the half, or just inside Longreach territory, about 2 metres inside. He get up and play it back to Peoples. Peoples gets it away to Wharton. Wharton set up on there by 3 or 4 Barcaldine players. Underneath was Blucher, over the top was Wilson and Arthur. He plays it back, comes out to Davies. Davies gets it away out wide to Bishel. Bishel misses the ball as it goes over the touchline. He gets a nice shoulder from Lyle Balderson. We see yet another scrum to pack down about 10 metres inside Barcaldine territory, 10 metres in from the grandstand touchline, put in by Burley, taken out by Davies against the head. Davies gets it away onto Wharton. Wharton's put down there by Johnny Anderson. He gets up, plays it back to Peoples. Peoples gets it away to Davies. Davies gets it on to Dixon. Dixon sees a gap, runs through the gap, beats one tackler, Paddy Arthur. Pretty weak effort too, but he's picked up by Coco Wilson. He's put down. Like Mark Davies might have stopped one in back play. I didn't see that, but he's down on the ground and the linesman in making a report. That was a pretty solid tackle then by Coco Wilson and Mark Dixon. See another replacement on the Barcaldine side. David Thompson's come on to replace Peter Blucher. We might see a bit of a shuffle around in this back line. See Thompson go to halfback probably and Burley go to 5'8". Longreach to play this ball about 20 metres out from Barcaldine try line. Played by Dixon, back to Peoples, goes on to Wharton. Wharton runs back behind Hanson, gets the ball away to number 14 instead, Walsh. Walsh loses the ball, Barcaldine loses the ball. I don't know what the penalty to Barcaldine's for, but you know, we've got a penalty to Barcaldine when Wharton come up with the ball. I couldn't follow the referee's ruling on that one. No doubt it'll show up on the replay tonight, so if you have a close look, you might be able to pick it up what it's for. Costello's got the ball. He's going to kick for touch on the grandstand side. He puts boot to ball. Yes, he finds touch too, probably about 26, 27 metres out from the Barcaldine try line. The second kick will be taken by Rafter. Rafter takes the second kick, gets the ball away close to Joey Farmer. Farmer goes straight up the middle, loses the ball, picked up by Lyle Balderson, but knock on to be played, so we'll see a scrum set down about 10 metres inside Barcaldine territory, about 12 metres in from the grandstand touchline. Longreach put it in, comes straight out the same tunnel. Referee will have to step on both these prop forwards, make them keep that ball in there. Neither of them make an effort to keep it in. Everyone come out the same tunnel, but we'll let her go. I'm sick of seeing scrums packed, says the ref. But Davis gets up and plays it back to Peoples. Peoples on to Wharton. Wharton on to Hanson running wide. Hanson's held up over there by Johnny Anderson and Joey Farmer. He'll get up and play it back He plays it back to Jackson. Jackson goes around but comes back into Peoples. Peoples is held up there. He gets up, plays it back to Noddy Hart, onto Mark Davies, onto Wharton. Wharton puts a little kick in after the ball.
What's he going to do?
The penalty to Longreach here, and rightly so, for interference to a man without the ball after he'd kicked it. Shoulder's okay, but you can't grab onto that man. Davies takes the tap and gets it out to Wharton. Wharton gets it away out wide to Hanson. Hanson's held up there by Jeffrey Raft and put the ground right on the 22-metre line. Another penalty to Longreach for Rafter, reefing the ball out of his hand after he's tackled. Once again, Davies to take the tap. He gets it back out wide. It comes to Alf Jackson. Jackson's held up there by Lyle Balls and Brett Williams with a hand from Costello in the finish. He'll get up and play it back. Plays it to Noddy Hart. Noddy Hart decides to go on his own. He's put into touch about 1 metre from the touchline. And now we'll see another scrum pack down about 5 metres out from the Barcaldine try line. Barcaldine ball to the scrum. Yes, Thompson's gone to half-back, as I thought he would, and Burley apparently out to 5-8 now. We'll see the scrum pack again. Ball's went straight out over the sideline out of that scrum. Thompson puts it in. Thompson takes it out. He decides to have a run on his own. He goes around the scrum. He's held up by Mick Bishel. He'll get up there and play the ball back to Wes. No, he plays it to Jeffrey Rafter. Rafter gets it away to Coco Wilson. Wilson makes it up to the 22-metre line before he's put down by Alf Jackson. He'll get up and play it back to David Thompson. Thompson onto Joey Farmer. Farmer standing flat-footed. He should be back running hard onto this ball. Thompson plays it back again. Gets the ball out wide to Costello. Costello decides to kick straight up in there, straight down Walsh's throat. Walsh knocks it on. There's the ball for Barcaldine to pick up. Thompson puts toe to ball. Runs back, picked up by Mark Dick, finally picked up by Burley. Burley gets it away to Johnny Anderson, knocked down by the Longreach centre and Steve Hart, and dived upon by Roy Costello. Picked up, played back, gets it away to Burley. Burley gets it away to Wes Wilson. Wes Wilson gets it out to Paddy Arthur, on to Darren Searles. Darren Searles is in the corner, right out in the far corner. Darren Searles has gone in off the ball, went straight through Paddy Arthur's hands to Darren Searles. Barcaldine go to a lead of 24 points to 4 after about 15 minutes play in the second half. Like David Kerrigan going to have a kick at this. Bleach has been replaced, so they've lost their kicker. Kerrigan to come around and have a kick for goal. Kerrigan puts the ball. There it is in the air now. Yes, it's in. Barcaldine now go to a lead of 26 points to 4 after about 15 minutes in the second half. Longreach bring the ball up to put it back into play. It's Neil Wharton, the Longreach centre, who'll restart play. He's kicking to the grandstand side, puts the ball. Paddy Arthur's got it covered here. He stands, takes the ball, decides to have a run on his own. He runs around Bishel. Doesn't get quite around him. He's held up and put down. He'll get up and play it back to Johnny Anderson. Johnny Anderson gets it on to Wes Wilson. Straight up the middle goes Wilson. Bit of an asset this year to see a couple of school teachers come to the town that play football. There's one, Wes Wilson, the other one in Phil Burley. Plays it to Thompson. Thompson gets it away to Burley. Burley to Coco Wilson. He's running back to the Longreach try line, but anyway, he's finally tackled over there by number 14, that's Steve Walsh. He gets it away to Searles. Searles put down by the Longreach winger in Setter, I think his name is, yes, Setter, and David Thompson finally knocks the ball on after the play of the ball, so we'll see another scrum pack down about 28 metres at 30 metres out from the Barcaldine try line. Longreach ball in, it looks like a Longreach ball out. Straight out the same tunnel. And gee, these scrums have been shocking today and the referee hasn't done too much about it either. And it goes again, Longreach ball in, Longreach ball out. Now it's picked up by a winger and it's straight out the same tunnel. The winger's about 10 yards behind the scrum. That one's gone straight through the scrum, but he said play on with that. I don't know what he thinks he's doing. Comes to Wilson. Wilson steps around Peoples. He's taken there by Steve Hart and Neil Wharton. He's held up in centre field. He'll get up and play the ball back, plays it on to Darren Searles. Darren Searles gets away to Thompson, on to Burley. Burley gets it away to Costello. Costello gets it out wide to Brett Williams. Brett Williams is put down there by his opposite number, Mick Bishel. He'll get up and play it back to Costello. Costello gets it away to Lyle Balderson. Lyle makes about 10 metres. He's put down. Plays it back to Jeffrey Rafter. Gets it away to David Thompson. David Thompson out wide to Joe Farmer. Up the centre was going Kerrigan. They didn't look to see what was going on then. Plays it back to Rafter. Rafter to David Thompson. On to Phil Burley. Burley, little kick over the top. Following through. It's picked up there by Steve Walsh. Burley takes him a bit high in the follow through. He'll get up and play the ball. He plays it back. Can't see who he's played it to. Played back to Ross Peoples this time. Ross Peoples gets it out wide. He's put down. He get up, play it back. Peoples again at dummy half. Back to, it comes through Davies to Hanson. Hanson's held up in midfield. And now we've got timeout number 11. Peter Schultz, the Longreach prop, is receiving attention in the middle of the field. He's back on his feet now, Schultz, so we'll see Hanson play this ball. He plays it back to Peoples, comes on to Davies. Davies gets it on to Wharton. Wharton puts boot the ball, kicks deep downfield. Pretty well covered by Wilson, the fullback. He picks it up, runs up on his own, runs up to Steve Hart. Gets halfway around him. Hart catches him from behind and puts him down. He'll get up and play the ball back. Plays it to Burley. Burley gives it to Kerrigan, standing flat-footed, and Kerrigan's put down without making a yard. He'll get up, play it back to Rafter. Rafter gets it to Thompson. Thompson gives a little kick over the top, straight to Michael Bishel. Bishel takes the ball. He's grabbed there by the jersey by Joe Farmer and pounded into the turf. He'll get up and play it back to Walsh. Walsh gets it away to Wharton. Barcaldine well up inside the 5, says referee Thompson. We'll have a penalty here at Longreach. Wharton kicks for touch, finds touch too, about 20 metres out from the Barcaldine try line. Second kick to be taken by Longreach. Mick Bishel, no, it's gone into Ross Peoples for the second kick. Peoples takes the tap, he gets it back inside to Noddy Hart. Noddy Hart dropped the ball in a pretty heavy tackle there. We'll have the knock on, says referee Thompson. Come to back down about 20 metres out from Barcaldine try line. David Thompson feeds his scrum, taken out by Barcaldine, picked up by Longreach, dived upon by Barcaldine. So we'll see Barcaldine get up, play it back to Rafter. Rafter knocks the ball behind him, he dives back on it. He's put down by Hanson. He get up, play it back to Kerrigan. Kerrigan runs across field. Tackled by Noddy Hart. He'll get up and play it. Plays it back to Wilson. Wilson gets it away to Costello. Costello out wide to nobody, straight over the sideline. No one running onto it. He had a man running close off him. He didn't have a look. He just threw the ball straight out across the sideline. So it's a Longreach ball in, Longreach ball out, same tunnel. It's going to go on all day, this pack and scrums. Oh, we've got the 5'8 for Longreach up playing hooker now. We're not doing too bad. We've got a centre and a 5'8 hooking. Goes back around Wharton to Davies. Davies on to Stevie Hart. Stevie Hart back to Davies. Davies is put down by Paddy Arthur, he get up and play it. Plays it back to Dixon. Dixon's held up there by David Thompson and Paddy Arthur. He'll get up and play it back to Mark Davies. Davies plays back. On it goes to Peoples. Peoples out to Wharton. Wharton out to Hanson. Hanson stands up in the tackle, gets the ball back to Wharton. Wharton's held up, put over by a shoulder charge from Paddy Arthur. He'll get up and play it back. Plays it to Ross Peoples. Ross Peoples tries to go on his own. He's tackled there. He plays it back to Wharton. Wharton gets it away to Mark Davies. On to Dixon. Dixon's held up there by Costello and Brett Williams. So he's only about 3 metres out. He'll play it back to Stevie Hart. Stevie Hart gets it away to Mark Davies. Mark Davies out wide to Bishel. Bishel knocks on, comes off Kerrigan's legs. Kerrigan dives on the ball. He's held up there. He'll play it back to Rafter. Rafter has a run on his own. No one with him. He plays it back. Lyle Balderson decides to go on his own. He's tackled there by the Hart brothers. Like another replacement, Bill Balky warming up on the sideline, coming onto the field to replace someone in the Longreach side. It could be Peter Schultz coming off. Bill Balky going on. Schultz, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, Bill Balky going on to replace Peter Schultz. He's grown a bit bulky in the last couple of years. He's a pretty big boy now. If he's anywhere near fit, he used to be a good forward in the junior games. The Balderson plays it back to Rafter. Rafter to Anderson. Anderson out wide to Costello. Costello a short one to Kerrigan. Kerrigan busts the line. There's no one with him. He throws a silly pass in the finish and picked up by Mick Bishel. Bishel's running across field. He's chased across there, put down by Burley and Wilson. He'll get up and play it back. He plays it back to Steve Walsh. Steve Walsh gets it away out wide to number 9 in Alf Jackson. Jackson loses the ball, picked up by Burley. Burley plays it to Costello. Costello gets it to Coco Wilson. I've called that one wrong. That was Lyle Balderson. Coco was right behind him. Coco dummy half. He gets it away to Jeffrey Rafter. Rafter goes up the middle on his own. He plays it back. Here's another report coming in from the linesman. Someone's thrown a punch in a tackle. Another penalty to Longreach. Apparently Rafter threw a punch in that tackle. He was reported by the linesman on the other side. It's been a pretty spiteful game, this one. There's a penalty kick from Wharton. He finds touch about 10 metres inside Barcaldine territory. Up to take the second kick is Setter. Setter decides to have a run on his own. He runs into Joey Farmer. Farmer missed him. Picked up by Searles. He gets up, plays it back to Peoples. Peoples gets it on to Alf Jackson. Alf Jackson drops it. Searles puts Bert to ball. Then he can't keep his boot against it. He's not a soccer player, and it's picked up again by Longreach, but Noddy Hart's quickly put down by Darren Searles. He plays it back to Davies. Davies slung into the ground there by Lyle Balderson. He'll get up and play the ball. Plays it back to Peoples. Peoples gets the ball out wide to Dixon. Dixon held up there by David Thompson and Roy Costello. Plays it back to Jeff Hanson. Jeff Hanson makes nowhere. Held up by Thompson and Costello again. Kerrigan in to help. He gets up, plays it back, plays it to Dixon. Dixon gets it out to Wharton. Wharton puts Bert the ball. Under it's Jeffrey Rafter. Gets in the road as Wharton knocks the ball back. Picked up by Wes Wilson for Barcaldine. He'll play it back to Joey Farmer. Farmer will have a run on his own. He doesn't know how to pass it. He's a good Catholic boy. He won't pass the pill. Plays it back to Thompson. Thompson gets it away to Kerrigan. Kerrigan goes to Hanson. Held up there by 2 Longreach defenders, one of which was Alf Jackson. The one on the ground looks like Davies. Longreach well up inside the 5. So we'll see a penalty go to Barcaldine just inside Longreach territory. No doubt Costello will kick for touch. Puts Bert the ball, finds touch too. He only gains about 10 metres, but the ball's out, so we get the second kick about 27, 28 metres out from the Longreach try line. Looks like no one for the Barcaldine side wants to take this tap. There's Costello, the coach, finally moved up to take it. He'll take the tap. He gets tried to go on his own, gets it away to Wilson. Wilson runs straight ahead, runs into Ross Peoples and Noddy Hart. He's held up there, finally put down by Noddy Hart, and underneath was Alf Jackson. Now he'll get up and play it. Come back to Farmer, on to Jeffrey Rafter. Rafter bust straight up the middle, into Hart, into Hanson. He'll get up and play the ball. He's given a good warning to Hanson. I don't know. It Burley on to Thompson. Thompson on to Wilson. Wilson steps out of 1-2 tackles. He's got 3 men over. 3 men over. Decided to go on his own. He scored the try about 10 metres out from the left-hand upright on the outer side of the field. So Barcaldine go to a lead of 30 points to 4.
Try for Barcaldine, scored by number 17, W. Wilson.
Kerrigan setting this ball up on the 22-metre line, only about 5 or 6 metres to the left-hand side of the uprights. It's on his last kick from the sideline. He should put this one over. Very cloudy, very overcast for the Haley Comet viewers tonight. Don't look like we'll get a look at her on supposedly the best night of the Haley Comet season. There's the kick. It's missed, waved away to the right-hand side of the uprights. Easiest kick of the day, and it's put out. So Barcaldine lead by 30 points to 4. After about 30 minutes play in the second half. So we're coming up to the last 10 minutes. Now Longreach have this ball set on the halfway. Wharton moves back. All very tired, very dejected looking. Jeff Hanson out here getting quite a chat from the referee. Right, here we go, into play. Boot the ball. Picked up by Paddy Arthur. Paddy Arthur hasn't done anything all day. He decided to have a run now on his own. He's taken over the top by Bill Balky. He get up and play it back to Jeff Wilson. Jeff gives it to David Thompson. David Thompson standing flat-footed. Instead of being back running onto this ball, puts the ball down, watching a player come through. It'll be a Longreach ball to the scrum, about 26 metres out from the Barcaldine try line. Put in by Davies, taken out by Davies. Davies got a big gap to go through there, but he's finally taken from behind by Blackjack Thompson. He'll get up and play the ball, plays it back to Dixon. Dixon gets it away to Walsh. To Wharton. Wharton gets it on to Jackson. Jackson back to Wharton. Wharton on to Hart. Hart out wide to Setter. Setter gets it around the corner to... can't see who that Longreach player is, but he'll get up and play the ball about back. Plays it back to Noddy Hart. Noddy Hart gets it on to Peoples. Peoples puts it down. Dive on by Costello. Knock on by Costello. So we'll see a scrum pack down right in front of the goal post, about 22 metres out from the Barcaldine try line. Put in by Thompson, be taken out by Davies. Yes, and Davies put down by Lyle Borlison. He'll get up and play the ball. He plays it back to Dixon. Dixon decides to go on his own. He's held up there by Thompson and Borlison. Put down with the assistance of Kerrigan. He'll get up and play the ball. Plays it back to Peoples. Peoples gets it away to Wharton. Wharton has a run on his own. Gets the ball out wide to Hanson. Hanson brushes off Burley. But he can't brush off Paddy Arthur, and he's put down about 20 metres out. Gets up, plays it back to Peoples. Out wide to Wharton again. Back inside to Bill Balky. Balky's put down there. He'll get up and play the ball back. Plays it to Peoples. Peoples gets it on to Davies. Davies passes it to Costello. Costello makes it out to the 22-metre line before he's held up. He get up and play it back to Johnny Anderson. We've got another replacement in the Barcaldine side. Peter Maloney in number 11 jersey on. I'll pick up in a minute who's replacing. Here's an intercept to Longreach, and a try to the Longreach winger in. No, it's not. It's the second rower, Alfie Jackson, who scored that try. A run against play, a real good try, scored by Alf Jackson. That brings Longreach up to 8. Barcaldine 30, Longreach 8. Here's Zambuck, the physiotherapist, running around with plenty of rattles. Ed Maloney replaced Phil Burley. No, Burley's still there. Here's a kick by Mark Davies. No, it's waved away, outside the right hand upright, left hand upright. So the score remains Barcaldine 30, Longreach 8, with about 8 or 10 minutes to go in this game. Kick off, it's gone down to Longreach winger and setter. He drops the ball, picked up by Peter Maloney, but he's ruled snatching the ball after his tackle, so a penalty will go to Longreach on the 22-metre line. Longreach into the ground. Wharton kicks for touch, finds touch too, about the halfway line, might be just inside Barcaldine territory. Yes, about 5 metres inside Barcaldine territory. Wharton found touch. Longreach come up to take the second kick. It's taken by Setter. Setter gets it away to Ross Peebles. It goes on to Mark Davies. Mark Davies gets it away to Wharton. On to Hanson close in. Hanson gets it away out wide. It comes out wide to Stevie Hart. He got a ton of pace, Stevie Hart. He got a man outside in the line wide open. Michael Bishop scores another try in the dying minutes. Forward pass ruled by referee Thompson. Penalty to Barcaldine. It looked like a certain try from here, but referee Thompson has ruled that Bishop was in front of Hart when he received that ball. A penalty has gone to Barcaldine, only about 5 metres out from the Barcaldine try line. Costello takes the kick. He finds touch too, about 27, 28, 30 metres out from the try line. Rath will take the second kick. Moves up to take the second kick, takes it, gets the ball away to Kerrigan. Kerrigan goes on his own, runs into Bulky. Bulky puts him down. He'll get up and play it back to Rafter. Rafter away to Thompson. Thompson gets it away to Costello. It goes behind him. He leaves it behind too. Dived on by Wilson, missed by Wilson. Dived on by another Barcaldine player in an offside position, and a penalty has gone to Longreach on the 22-metre line, right in front. So Peoples will take the tap. He takes the tap. He gets the ball away out wide. Goes to Alf Jackson. Jackson to Setter. Setter drops the ball. Dived on by a Barcaldine player, but should be a knock on both ways. See another scrum pack down. It's getting very scrappy now, this game. The players are getting very tired. Right on the 22-metre line. Put in by Longreach, by Barcaldine. Taken out by Barcaldine. Comes to Burley. Burley gets it on to Brett Williams. Brett Williams held up there by Stevie Hart. He's put down. He'll get up and play it back to Wes Wilson. Wilson decides to have a run on his own. He's got Peter Maloney with him. He steps out of 1-2 tackles. He runs up to Walsh. Walsh has got him underneath. Over the top is Hanson. Puts him down. He gets up, plays it back to Rafter. Rafter gets it away to Burley. Burley's got Costello outside him. Out. Knocked down by Longreach winger and Setter. We'll have to play the knock on there. It was a knock on. Knocked down by Setter between the winger, between the centre and Costello. Another scrum to pack down. In it goes, put in by Barcaldine, should be taken out by Thompson. Taken out by Thompson, he's tackled by his opposite number. He gets up, plays it back to Rafter. Rafter straight up the middle, held up there by Bill Balky. He'll play it back to Joe Farmer. Farmer decides to have a run on his own, up round the middle. Steps out of one, put down by Davies, the halfback for Longreach. Plays it to Rafter. Rafter away to Thompson. Thompson on to Burley. Burley back inside to Kerrigan. Kerrigan out to Paddy Arthur. Paddy Arthur round to Burley. Burley out wide to Johnny Anderson running for the corner. Anderson palmed off one, and he's going to score, Johnny Anderson. Yes, he palmed Dixon off very cleanly, and he scored a fine try about halfway between the sideline and the goal post on the hospital end of the ground. So Barcaldine go to a lead of 34 points to 8 in the dying minutes of this game.
Number 5, Joe Anderson.
And you see David Kerrigan have this kick and goal. Come back to about the 22-metre line, just outside the 22-metre line. Kerrigan's got this ball placed now. He's just measuring his steps back. In he goes, puts through the ball. Yes, it looks straight down the middle. There's another 2 points. So 36 points to 8. Barcaldine lead Longreach. Very close to full time in this game. Been a very sound, convincing win to Barcaldine, considering it's their first game, first run together for the season. Longreach have had one run under their belt. Things all go pretty well for Barcaldine this season if this side can be kept going, kept fit. Wharton puts the ball in Balderson, takes it inside his own 22, runs it out. He runs into Alf Jackson, runs around him, held up there by the halfback in Davies. He'll get up and play it back to Rafter. Rafter gets it away to Peter Maloney, the late replacement. Maloney's put down over there. He get up, play it back to Rafter again. Rafter gets it out wide to Thompson, on to Costello, on to Joey Farmer. Farmer's put down over on the halfway line by Walsh. He gets up, plays it back to Costello, on to Thompson, on to Kerrigan. Kerrigan loses the ball there, but finally picked up by nobody after about 27 knock-ons. We'll see a scrum pack on the halfway line, not far from centre field, just off the cricket pitch area. Longreach feed the ball straight out to Thompson, out wide to Wes Wilson. He's got Johnny Anderson outside him with a ton of pace. He's run down by Wharton. And he's tackled about 10 yards short of the try line. He'll get up and play it back to Wilson. Wilson gets it on to Thompson. Thompson on to Burley. Burley on to Rafter. Rafter on to Maloney. Maloney out to Costello. Costello out to Brett Williams. On to Darren Searles. He should score over there. Now he dropped the ball over the try line. Forward pass. Rolled back in midfield from Costello to Brett Williams by the look of it. That might have been Searles dropped the ball. He might have heard the whistle. I didn't. Penalty goes to Longreach for a forward pass. Oh, no more time off. There's our lady ambulance bearer running out. Who's that in 16 jersey? Great. There have been a lot of unnecessary hold-ups, sir. What? Longest game of football on record. Maybe they're timing it with an alarm clock. It could be. Is that Neil Wharton? Paul Wharton. Looks like Neil Wharton, the Longreach centre, being carried to the sideline to be replaced by number 16, Greg Clark. Hope there's no serious injury with Wharton. He'd be the best player of Longreach on the field there today, without a doubt. Right, their time back on. Ross Peoples to take this penalty kick. He finds touch to about 12 metres inside Longreach territory, 15 metres inside Longreach territory. Setter comes in to take the second kick. He gets the ball onto Peoples, onto Davies. Davies gets it onto Hanson. Hanson gets it away to, like, could be the replacement player. No, it might be Mark Dixon. Oh, what? He plays it back. He's eating a bit of dust. Hanson gets up and plays it back. He gets it away to Mark Davies. Mark Davies gets it away to Noddy Hart. Noddy Hart's held up there by David Thompson and Lyle Ballison. Plays it to Davies. Davies on to Peoples. Peoples gets the ball away to Mark Dixon. Mark Dixon steps out of one tackle, followed along by Jeffrey Rafter on his knees, and finally put to ground. He get up and play it back. Comes on to Ross Peoples. Ross Peoples decides to have a run on his own up the middle. Steps out of one, runs into Paddy Arthur, gets the ball back inside to Bill Balky. Balky's held up there by David Thompson and Lyle Ballison. He'll get up and play it back. Plays it to Noddy Hart. Noddy Hart gets it away to Peoples. Peoples decides to kick. Comes straight to Johnny Anderson. Johnny Anderson knocks it forward. Runs ahead, picks it up. Knock on, says the referee. Another scrum to pack down, about 20 metres out from Barcaldine try line. Ball in by Davies, taken out by Thompson for Barcaldine. Thompson will get up and play it. Plays it back to Rafter, the hooker. Rafter knocks on as he goes to pick it up. And we'll see another scrum pack down, exactly the same place. They're only going through the motions of playing football now. Both teams very tired. Ball's in. Taken out by Thompson. Penalty for Longreach. Reaching into the scrum to get the ball, collapsing the scrum, whatever you want. It was all there. We see a penalty go to Longreach, about 20 metres out from Barcaldine try line. Peoples to take the tap. He takes the tap. He got Clark outside him. He gets it away from Clark onto Hanson. Hanson gets it back to Peoples. Peoples runs round him. He's got a gap there, but he's held up by Peter Maloney. He gets up and plays the ball. Plays it back to Clark. Clark gets it on to Hanson. Hanson, no one wants it. No one to pass it to. And he's got to take the tackle about 15 metres out. He'll get up and play it back to Clark. Clark got Davies outside him. He gets it on to Jackson. Jackson drops it. So we'll see a knock on. Another scrum to pack down, only about 15 metres out from the Barcaldine try line. Very, very scrappy play now. Maybe it's getting too dark to see the ball. We'll have to turn the lights on if it goes any longer. Just referee the game, don't worry about the time, they employ timekeepers for that. Depends how much time you call off. One by Longreach. Dived on by Davies at the base of the scrum. He's quickly put to ground by the halfback Thompson. He'll get up and play it back to, I don't know, Clark, I think it is. No, it's not, it's Dixon. That plays it back to Peoples. Peoples gets it away to Clark. Clark gets it on to Hanson. Hanson runs straight into Jeffrey Rafter and Costello and Kerrigan underneath. He's held up there. He'll play it back to Clark. Clark away to Peoples. Peoples gets it on to Alf Jackson through to Steve Hart, held up. Plays it back to Jackson. Jackson gets it away to Dixon. Dixon's tackled there by Costello. Gets his ball away to Peoples. Peoples gets it out wide to Mark Davies. Davies runs around Thompson. Gets it away to Setter. Setter passed it back to Davies. Knocked on, so we'll see another scrum pack down. Thompson puts it in. Davies takes it out for Longreach. Gets it away to Clark. Clark held up there by Burley. Gets out of Burley's tackle. Finally held up by David Thompson. He'll play it back to Peoples. Peoples, Barcaldine well offside. Stevie Hart up to take the second kick. Takes the tap. Hart throws it out wide. It comes to Jackson. Jackson drops it. Paddy Arthur dives on it. There's the full-time hooter. Full-time score. Barcaldine 36. Longreach 8. Started off fairly rugged rate. A bit of fight in the first half. Looks like Barcaldine won the fight, won the football. For mine, Neil Wharton, the best player for Longreach, and toss-up for Barcaldine, probably between Darren Kirk, David Kerrigan and Phil Burley. But all in all, pretty tired game of football. Both teams very tired towards the end. Slightly disappointed with the refereeing showed by referee